Ever feel like you're just, drowning in health headlines?
Oh, absolutely. One day something's terrible for you, the next it's the best thing ever.
Exactly. So today we're doing things a bit differently. We're really zeroing in on something specific and frankly quite important. How certain nuts, seeds, and even fruits might actually help lower our risk of colorectal cancer.
Think of it as a shortcut through the noise.
Right. We want to give you the clearest possible picture based on some recent info.
Yeah, we've looked at a few things here. There's an analysis the Times of India did on a study focusing on nuts and seeds specifically.
Okay.
And then there's this interesting claim about fruit from a doctor that Surrey Live picked up on, plus some broader dietary context from Republic World and WFMZ.
So the mission today is basically to pull out the really practical stuff, the actionable insights.
Precisely, helping you understand which foods might give you a bit of an edge against what's become a pretty common cancer.
Okay, let's start unpacking that then. Colorectal cancer. Sometimes called bowel cancer.
That's right. It develops in the colon or the rectum, the sort of final parts of the large intestine. Often starts as little growths, polyps they're called.
And why should this really be on our radar? Is it that common?
It really is. In the U.S., it's the third most common cancer for both men and women. We're talking estimates of over 100,000 new cases just next year.
Wow.
And it's a big issue in the UK, too. It's definitely significant.
And there's that worrying trend as well, isn't there, about younger people?
Yes, that's something WFMZ highlighted, and it's concerning. We're seeing rising rates in people under 50, particularly in Western countries.
Any idea why?
Well, the exact reasons are still being figured out, honestly. Theories point towards, a mix of environmental factors, maybe diet, maybe genetics. It's likely complex. But it really does underline why, like you said, staying informed and maybe being a bit proactive with health choices is so important now.
Absolutely. Okay, so let's get into the potentially good news. Nuts and seeds. You mentioned a study.
Yes, a recent one published in the National Library of Medicine, which the Times of India analyzed. It specifically looked at how eating nuts and seeds might play a role in prevention.
And what jumped out? Were there specific types that seemed particularly beneficial?
Definitely. Walnuts were a big one. There was a study from UConn School of Medicine, looked at about 39 people.
Okay.
They found these compounds in walnuts, allantogens, polyphenols, seem to reduce levels of certain proteins found in those polyps, the precursors to cancer.
How does that work exactly?
It's fascinating, actually. Our gut bacteria get involved. They take those allantogens from the walnuts and transform them into something called urolithin.
Urolithin.
And this urolithin seems to have anti-inflammatory effects right there in the colon. Reducing inflammation is, well, pretty key in preventing cancer development. Republic World also mentioned walnuts for their omega-3s and other antioxidants, fitting this picture.
Wow, so it's like a little chemical reaction happening inside us, triggered by walnuts.
Sort of, yeah. Fueled by our own gut microbes. It's a great example of that gut-diet connection.
That's incredible. What about other nuts? Peanuts? Pistachios?
Also promising results there. For peanuts, a large study in Taiwan, the Nurses Healthy Study, found a link between eating peanuts and roughly a 58% lower risk of colorectal cancer in women.
58%. That's substantial.
It is, yeah. And pistachios, they're just packed with good stuff. B vitamins, those polyphenols, again, fiber. The study suggests that including them regularly could also help lower risk. It's these bioactive compounds doing the work.
Okay, so walnuts, peanuts, pistachios.
Yeah.
Building a good case. The Times of India piece mentioned others too, right? Hazelnuts, flax seeds.
Yes, it did. Hazelnuts, particularly some types from Oregon and Turkey, seem to have compounds that might hinder cancer cell growth. And flax seeds, they really stood out. Studies in both animals and humans have shown they can reduce both the risk and the actual growth of colorectal cancer.
What's in flax seeds that makes them so powerful?
It seems to be a combination there. Fiber content, alpha-linolenic acid, which is an omega-3, lignans, other phytochemicals. They all seem to work together.
Okay, what else? Pumpkin seeds and sesame seeds were on the list too.
Right. With pumpkin seeds, a study on rats suggested that an extract could lead to positive changes in the colon, hinting at a protective effect when eaten as part of a normal diet.
And sesame seeds.
They have specific compounds like sesamin. Research suggests these can have anti-cancer effects directly against cells lining the colon or rectum, potentially slowing them down.
It really sounds like variety is key here, getting a mix of these different nuts and seeds.
Definitely.
But there was an important point about how much, wasn't there? Something about dietary proportions.
Absolutely crucial point. Yes, we're talking about incorporating these into your regular diet in normal amounts.
Right.
Not, suddenly deciding to eat 5 bags of walnuts a day. It's about consistent, sensible inclusion.
Makes sense. Okay, let's switch gears slightly to fruit and fiber. There was that claim from Dr. Karan Rajan on TikTok.
Ah, yes. The Surrey Live article mentioned him. He suggested that just 1 apple a day plus a bit of oats providing about 7 grams of fiber together could potentially lower colon cancer risk by up to 8%.
8% from just an apple and some oats? What's the thinking there? Is it all about the fiber?
It largely seems to be about the fiber, yes. Fiber is, it's incredibly important for bowel health.
How does it help exactly?
Think of it like a transit system booster. It helps regulate bowel movements, adds bulk, and crucially, it can reduce the amount of time that potentially harmful substances are in contact with the colon wall. It sort of speeds things along and dilutes things.
Like a scrubbing brush, almost.
Yeah, or maybe a quick-moving train getting waste out efficiently. Dr. Rajan's example just highlights a pretty simple, achievable way to get a decent fiber boost.
And it's not just apples and oats, obviously. Loads of things have fiber.
Oh, absolutely. Whole grains are fantastic. Think wholemeal bread, brown rice, more oats, then all sorts of other fruits and vegetables, beans, chickpeas, lentils.
And most of us aren't getting enough, are we?
Generally, no. The recommendation for adults is about 30 grams a day. The average intake, according to that Surrey Live piece, is often closer to 18 grams, so there's definitely room for improvement for many people.
Good to know. Any tips for increasing fiber?
The main one is do it gradually. If you suddenly ramp up your fiber intake, you might get some digestive discomfort, bloating, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
And drink plenty of water. Fiber needs water to do its job properly.
Right. Gradual increase, lots of water. Got it. Now, Dr. Rajan also made the point that fiber isn't like a magic shield, did he?
He did, and that's really important context. Fiber is beneficial, potentially very beneficial, but it doesn't operate in a vacuum. Meaning genetics still play a role, environmental factors, sometimes just random chance, unfortunately. Increasing fiber is a great strategy, a way to sort of stack the odds in your favor, but it's not a 100% guarantee against cancer. It's one part of a bigger health picture.
That makes sense. Okay, zooming out again, WFMZ mentioned an Australian study with broader dietary advice.
Yes, and it really reinforces a lot of what we've been talking about. That study found that diets generally rich in fruits, vegetables, especially the dark green leafy ones, whole grains, and healthy fats seem to significantly reduce cancer risk overall.
And crucially, what should we limit?
Limiting sugar and alcohol came up as important in that study too. It's about the overall pattern of eating.
And lifestyle factors beyond just food.
Definitely. WFMZ cited Dr. Liska from the Cleveland Clinic on this. Obesity and just not moving enough, sedentary lifestyles, are linked with a higher risk of colorectal cancer.
Okay.
And on the flip side of diets high in red meat and processed meats and high alcohol consumption are also associated with increased risk.
So it's not just about adding good stuff, but maybe reducing some other things too.
Exactly. And there was another interesting point from the Australian study. They found that eating fiber-rich foods alongside lots of refined grains and sugar might actually cancel out some of fiber's benefits.
Really? So having wholemeal toast but with jam might not be as good as...
Well, it suggests the whole meal, the whole dietary pattern matters. You can't necessarily just add fiber to an otherwise unhealthy diet and expect the full benefit.
That's a really important nuance.
Yeah.
Okay, this gives us a lot to think about regarding prevention through diet, but we should also touch on symptoms, shouldn't we? What should people look out for?
Yes, definitely. Surrey Live listed some key ones. Persistent changes in bowel habits like looser poo, diarrhea, constipation. That's unusual for you.
Okay.
Needing to poo more or less often. Blood in the poo, which could be bright red or dark, almost black. Bleeding from the bottom.
Right.
Feeling like you haven't fully emptied your bowels even after going. Pain or a lump in your tummy. Bloating. Losing weight without trying. And feeling really tired or breathless, which could be a sign of anemia from blood loss.
And the advice is, if any of these persist,
see your GP, your doctor. Especially if symptoms last for 3 weeks or more, don't ignore them.
And for more severe symptoms.
Things like very dark or black poo or significant bleeding need urgent attention. Call your local emergency number. And just generally, Dr. Liska mentioned that in the U.S., screening is usually recommended starting around age 45 now.
Okay, super important information there.
Yeah.
So if we try and wrap this up, it sounds like certain nuts, we talked about walnuts, peanuts, pistachios, hazelnuts, and seeds like flax, pumpkin, sesame.
Yep.
Plus ensuring good fiber intake, maybe through things like apples and oats, but also just generally from fruits, veg, and whole grains. All these things show real promise.
They really do seem to offer potential benefits in reducing colorectal cancer risk. It looks like it's down to various compounds, antioxidants, anti-inflammatories, fiber, and how they positively influence our gut environment.
So adding these foods could help, as you said, stack the odds in our favor a bit.
That's a good way to put it. It's about improving your chances, contributing to overall health. But remember, it's not an absolute prevention method on its own. Other factors are definitely involved.
Absolutely. So the takeaway for you listening is perhaps to think about consciously including more of these nuts, seeds, and fiber-rich foods as part of a balanced, healthy diet. A proactive step.
Exactly. And maybe that leaves us with a final thought, especially given that worrying rise in younger people being diagnosed. With everything we know about diet, lifestyle, genetics, what other questions should we be asking? What might the future hold for preventing or detecting colorectal cancer even earlier? Something to mull over.